Ukrainian air defense units have shot down a Russian Su-25 close air support aircraft in Toretsk city in Ukraine's eastern Donetsk region, press service of the 28th Separate Mechanized Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces reported on Saturday. Soldiers of the 28th Brigade have destroyed an enemy Su-25. Another Russian attack aircraft has been eliminated on the Toretsk front thanks to our air defense forces, the brigade's statement posted on Telegram reads. Further details are expected to be released later in a video update, the brigade stated. A video has been released showing the aircraft crash to the ground after being struck. This marks the first reported downing of a Russian Su-25 in several months. According to the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Ukrainian soldiers have already destroyed 369 Russian army aircraft since the beginning of the full-scale war in 2022. The armed forces have also shot down 331 Russian helicopters.
The main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine once again showed how the Russian army abandons its own and then does not even search for those missing in action. Intelligence published an audio recording of the interception on the Telegram channel. There are a lot of missing people. I understand, but they should know what unit they came from and where they went. A Russian resident was indignant. The woman advises her interlocutor to hope for the best, but at the same time is amazed that the command knows nothing about the missing occupiers. You need to know the point where they were, the military unit, and then start from there, the Russian woman reasons. According to a resident of the occupying country, even the commanders of the Russian army soldiers do not know exactly where the missing soldiers were, and even less where they are, because they are constantly being transferred from unit to unit. They can't really say anything. It's some kind of mess, the woman summed up. Earlier, the National Resistance Center of Ukraine said that Russian military personnel are being forced to desert if they wish to leave the army after their contracts expire. The National Resistance Center of Ukraine learned from residents of temporarily occupied areas in Ukraine that Russian soldiers are compelled to desert, to exit the military, as the Russian command does not release them upon contract completion. Most deserters are those who were not released upon completion of their contracts and were planned to be sent to a meat assault. The National Resistance Center of Ukraine states, currently Russian forces have increased the number of units searching for deserters. Additionally, in Ukrainian territories under occupation, the enemy has intensified the establishment of checkpoints. As reported earlier, Russia has come up with a new way to replenish its army with people from the occupied territories. In particular, detainees facing imprisonment are offered to sign a contract with the Russian army in exchange for avoiding criminal prosecution. In this way, the Kremlin hopes to delay the announcement of mass mobilization. French Mirage 2000 fighters will significantly expand Ukraine's capabilities for using British Storm Shadow missiles. Aviation expert Konstantin Krivolap said this on air at Kiev 24. He noted that Mirage 2000 will be able to carry Storm Shadow / Scalp, and this will significantly improve the capabilities and quality of use of these missiles by the Air Force. The capabilities of these fighters differ from those of the Su-24. He added that Mirage can also be used to shoot down cruise missiles and Shaheeds. You don't need expensive missiles for that. You have guns on board. Now F-16s are hitting Shaheeds. They mainly shoot them down with guns. This can be done from light aircraft, but we have a problem with the Defense Ministry's codification there, he added. Regarding how many Mirages Ukraine could receive, the expert noted that we could be talking about a quantity of up to 40 units. The expert believed that Ukraine could receive from 12 to 18, but there could be twice as many of these aircraft in a more or less acceptable condition that could be transferred to the Ukrainian armed forces. According to him, the main thing that is needed is to increase the number of Storm Shadow / Scalp, but their number is limited by the capabilities of the manufacturer, which transfers almost everything it produces to Ukraine. The French and British provide us with quite a lot of missiles compared to what they have left, but the Mirages will have no problems with what to hit with, the expert believes. Apparently, Mirage 2000 has already started to perform its work, but we need to wait for official announcements, Krivolap noted. The Mirage 2000 is equipped with two 30mm cannons and can carry air-to-air, air-to-ground, anti-ship and anti-radiation missiles, as well as guided and unguided bombs. Missile ranges vary depending on the version. French jets can carry Mika missiles for air combat, Exocet anti-ship missiles, Scalp/Storm Shadow cruise missiles for strikes on ground targets, AS-35 Armat anti-radiation missiles, and a wide range of bombs. An important point is that the jets received by Ukraine were reportedly modernized to have the option to use Storm Shadow/Scalp EG cruise missiles. France is already providing these long-range missiles for strikes on Russian targets. Ukrainian aviation expert Valery Romanenko pointed out that French Mirage fighter jets would not compete head-to-head with Russian aircraft like MiGs and Su. According to Romanenko, the French jet will be useful as a defensive fighter and can perform some tasks currently assigned to F-16s. Ukrainian aviation expert also reminded that the Mirage 2000 can carry not only long-range Scalp missiles but also AASM Hammer bombs for frontline strikes. In the Pokrovsk direction, the Russian army lost 7,000 personnel irretrievably and 15,000 in total, including the wounded and missing. This was reported by the spokesman for the Operational Strategic Group of Forces, Kortitsia Viktor Trehubov, on the air of the National Telethon. According to him, the Pokrovsk direction is still the most active. Over the past 24 hours, there were 24 enemy assaults there. The Russians are storming to the south and southwest of the city. The Toretsk front, 9 attacks near Toretsk, Doliivka, and Sherbinivka, urban fighting in Toretsk itself. The Kramatorsk front line, 3 clashes near Chasiv Yar and Stupochki. Seversk front line, 9 attacks in the area of Spirny, Seversk, and Vernekamensk, Trehubov said. The speaker specified that according to Commander-in-Chief Alexander Syrsky, in the Pokrovsk direction, the Russians lost 7,000 personnel irretrievably and 15,000 in total, including the wounded and missing. The Second Chechen War for the Russians, for the entire period, 6,000 dead. That is, under Pokrovsk alone in January, the Russians have more dead than in the entire Second Chechen War, he said. Trehubov said that now the Russians are throwing all their forces and reserves in an attempt to encircle the city. In particular, if they manage to cut off the routes leading to the city, at least from the west and southwest, then this could indicate the success of the occupiers. But now they are not succeeding. The Russians are losing a very large number of personnel and equipment, trying to simply cling to small villages to the southwest of Pokrovsk. Russia launched the Second Chechen War in August 1999, marking its second and ultimately successful attempt to suppress Chechen rebels in the North Caucasus Republic. International human rights groups condemned the Russian military for purposely targeting civilians and committing war crimes throughout the decade-long conflict. The total losses incurred by Russian forces in the Second Chechen War are difficult to verify, though official government figures claim the number is around 6,000. Moscow is now seeing staggering losses in its ongoing assault against eastern Ukraine, with some reports indicating that over 1,000 soldiers are killed or wounded per day. Russian forces continue to sacrifice high numbers of personnel for limited territorial gains, a grim tactic that can push back significantly outnumbered Ukrainian troops.